So I had a bit of a wake-up call recently when I walked into my room and then my legs just randomly gave way. It happened so suddenly that obviously I couldn't prepare for it, and I just went down, knees buckled, knees hit the floor, kind of strained my groin and bruised up my knees. As I sat there on the floor in pain, I got a bit of a feeling that I should probably look to try out a mobility aid, because you just can't be falling out there. It's not great for you. In my case, I got injured, so I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do. Yeah, just using one in public for the first time, I think is quite scary and something that a lot of people with disabilities have to go through. So if you've never seen my head before, my name's Kalvin. I have muscular dystrophy, more specifically FSHD, and I was diagnosed about 10 years ago. And yeah, this channel is all about documenting my journey with that, and whatever that may entail. Could be random things I try, just updates on how I'm going, and all that kind of stuff. So stick around if you're interested. So I bought a mobility aid off Amazon. Looks like this. I got this one because it was $42, so that seemed to be on the cheaper end. It's collapsible, so I can fold it up and put it in stuff like a bag. Had some decent reviews, so yeah, let's unbox it, shall we? Oh. Here we are. So it folds up like this, which is I'd say that's pretty portable. Hey. I'm gonna take a fat guess and assume that's a bit short for me though. Oh, okay, so there's a pin here that that can't be right. Cool, and then I can kind of change the height of it. It's got a little loop, so you can, I guess you can put it on, I guess that's the idea, put it on your hand. You could probably put it on your keys if you want. First impressions, looks pretty cool. It looks pretty, I don't think elderly is the word, but it looks like, let's just try it out, shall we? And then they have this little dude. I don't know if you can see that, showing you the different ways to rock a cane. I don't see the appeal of the low cane. Or is that showing you what not to do? What? Oh yeah? Okay. I'm not sure what the right height is supposed to be. So I'm just gonna make it really high and see what that looks like. Okay, so this is the max setting on this. It feels cool enough. It's kind of coming up to here on the highest setting. Yes. So proper, it looks like kind of coming up to his nuts. Yeah, that feels about right. Okay, so I think the idea is that I'm supposed to put this little loop around my hand. Oh, so then if you want to actually grab something, you can, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I have a tendency to want to kind of go like that, so then I can put weight on it. I'm not sure if that's right. It definitely gives you some stability, which I guess is the point. Because the main reason for getting this is that on longer days that I've had a lot of walking, my legs get a little bit tired and weak, and that sort of amplifies the chance of me falling over, which I don't want. To be honest, it makes me walk worse, I think. Like if I just walk normally, I think that looks somewhat normal. But then if I walk with this, I'm kind of trying to put more weight on it. Oh, I don't know. I do have a couple of things planned. I've got a physio appointment in the city doing some strength testing stuff, which I'll talk about in a later video because there's a reason why I did all that testing. The other thing is a inclusive event for my area. They're putting on a little event with a few speeches and artwork done by people with disabilities, and they're going to be talking about how they're making the community more accessible, and I thought that was sort of the perfect time to try out a stick, because I don't think anyone's going to rip into you for having a mobility aid at one of those events. I'm sure with all of this I'm overthinking it anyway and just just making it way worse in my head than it will actually be. I'm keen to show you what it's like for me and my experience trying out a mobility aid for the first time. So I spent ages trying to find a park, and then I found a disabled parking like right near the front, which is super clutch, and it's probably the first time where I feel comfortable actually using my permit and not feeling bad about it, because usually like it's not that obvious I have a disability, but now that I've got a little stick, come at me. So yeah, let's go. Alright, so I'm just finishing up at the event now and trying not to hit anyone or thing. I was pretty close to the entrance to the building for the event, so I didn't have to walk very far. From the looks of things, I was the only person there with a mobility aid, apart from a wheelchair. So that was fine, I guess. No one really acknowledged it even, which was nice. I mean, I wasn't expecting them to, but when I first walked into the building, I ran into someone and they're like, oh, the event's just over there. Like, I mean, obviously the guy with the walking stick is going to the disability event, but like, everyone was super nice. It was very, very relaxed. I found the stick was good, not so much for walking, it wasn't really that helpful, like a little bit for stability and stuff, but it was more so useful for when I was just standing there, because I could take a little bit of weight off my legs, I guess. After a while I got used to the stick and I didn't really notice I had it, which was chill. Like I just walking around with it. It wasn't a very big room, so I didn't have to walk very far, but just standing around with it made it a little bit easier. So because I had quite a big day of walking yesterday, I found that my legs were a bit tired from that. So just having a little bit of a way to sort of take some weight off my legs was actually quite nice. Obviously it's pretty low level stuff going to a disability event with a mobility aid. Like, no one's really going to judge you there. So that's why I thought it was a good place to start at. But yeah, look, I mean, I think I will continue to use the stick, just probably not every time. Well, it's easy for me to say because I've only used it once and I haven't had any bad experiences yet. I think it's pretty chill using a mobility aid. If anyone asks, like, hey, what's up? What's up with your little aid? Why do you need a stick? I guess you could just say, yeah, look, got a disability, or, you know, legs don't work, if you feel comfortable doing that. Or you could just say, like, look, not really any of your business. Like, let me walk in peace with my stick. At the end of the day, it's not really anyone's business except yours. Oh, this is not the right road. I used to be in the headspace that if I just don't think about the fact that my legs are getting worse, then they won't get worse. Which I think is a little bit stupid. Like, if you just don't think about something, it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. But the more change I notice in my legs, I think the more I've come to accept it. And I think getting involved in sport has really helped that, because I'm in a wheelchair twice a week anyway playing tennis, so it's not really that weird now. But I completely understand the fear around not wanting to use a mobility aid, because it's scary, it's terrifying, honestly. I think with anything, to get over a fear, you just have to keep doing it. I think just proving to yourself that you can do something is most of the battle. Like, before you even try something, you don't know if you can do it. You just need one attempt, I guess, like one shot of you doing something to prove to yourself that you can. In my case, using a stick in public. I just did it once and now I feel like I can do it whenever. If your mobility is affected and there's a little stick that you can get off Amazon for $40 that's going to help you do stuff you want to do,
I'd say that's a good $40 to spend. I'd say it's similar to wearing, like if you ever worn a piece of clothing or like some new shoes or something that you're not quite sure about. You're not quite sure if it fits your style, or it's maybe you're really into top hats, or I think it's similar to that. It's just an accessory at the end of the day. It's like wearing a watch. You just have a little mobility aid. Or even if you have a chair or something a little bit more visible. I don't know, man. It's not as big of a deal as I made it out to be. I will update you in the future on how I'm going and if I continue to use the aid quite often or not at all, or if I find a better one. But I hope this video is somewhat helpful for anyone who's a little bit on the fence about using a mobility aid, because I mean, a few hours ago I was really on the fence. It's a step in the right direction to accepting your disability, because unless a cure comes out or something like that, it's not going to go away. So you may as well, become friends with it, or at least acknowledge that it's there. I think when you don't acknowledge, this goes for anything, not just disability, but if you don't acknowledge that there's something going on with you, you can never really try to work through it or do something about it. Because most of the time things aren't going to get better on their own. That's just how you got to think about it. Like, obviously don't focus on all your little imperfections or whatever, but if there's something you can do to help yourself out, I think you owe it to yourself to at least try.